Hi guys, and welcome to Rishabh Dhanuka Gaming. I was off for for a long time, and I didn't post a long format video for a long time. So I'm here back making long form content, and to bring back and to come back to long form content. I thought, why not make a list of games, low end PC games, and as when I was younger, growing up, I used my dad's personal computer, so I was playing games on pretty much a budget. The only time I bought a graphics card was when I asked my father that can I play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. And then I played Crysis later on with an upgraded graphics card. So yeah, that's how my gaming journey began. So when I was younger and I bought mostly physical games, sometimes I bought games from like this copy game stores and stuff like that. So yeah, I used to check before buying those games, like what are the specifications for those games, and I used to hunt for games that are low budget because at that time YouTube was not, I would say, it was there, but mostly I used to search through these website articles of like game websites where they put out a list for low end games, or they talk about games that are like will run on the low end PC or something like that. So that's how I got into gaming. So here I am creating a list of low-end PC games, and these are low-end PC according to the 2026 standard that I think, like, as a medium gamer, like medium budget gamer, you'll be like, okay, so I'm putting like i5, at least 4 GB of VRAM, and or like if I get requests more on this video, I'll probably make a video where I can put a list of games that would run without a graphics card if people wanted to, or I'll just stick with low end PC games budget. So I like to fit in a few games from different categories so that people have options to try out different games. So people like certain category or certain genre of games, so they can just try out those games in particular. So I'll try to put like a little bit of variety in this list. I'll just go with the flow of how many games that I just add into this list. So there's no specific like limit to what number of games I'm just gonna add. But I'll try to make this like a small video and then make multiple parts of it, anyways. So yeah, as I said, it will be a minimum i5, 4 GB of VRAM, 8 GB of RAM, and space. I think I'll not try to keep storage construction, but yeah, usually it will be less than 50 gigabytes because nowadays each game is like 100 gigabytes. So I'm just saying medium range 50 gigabytes in case you have a 512 GB storage, or you have 256 GB storage of SSD, and most of rest of them is HDD. So considering that factors, I'll be recommending you games. So first, the king of RTS games, Age of Empire. Though you cannot get originally the original Age of Empire, I think you can get it on GOG store, but I would recommend you try out Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. That's one of the most popular from the Definitive Edition collection or remastered collection, whatever that's called. And it requires you like an i3-2105 at 3 gigahertz, or you can have a AMD Phenom 11, or I think double I X4236, which is also around the same clock speed. You need 8 gigabytes of RAM, graphics card of GT equivalent to GT430, which is around like 2 GB VRAM you require for this game. Like, this is the minimum requirements I'm saying, alright? And DirectX 11, you need a broadband connection because it's a Windows game, so it activates from the Windows, like Xbox or some game stores, like those. It connects to the Microsoft store and it signs you from there. So that's that. And the only construction I think it is like, this is a smaller game. Like, it's small, but like when you compare it to my days, it's still big. It's a 15 gigabyte game, and I think 15 gigabytes is not that much. You can buy this game on Steam. I think it's still available to purchase on Steam, or you can go to GOG store. I think you'll find good deals depending on which country you are in. So in different countries, there are certain websites that give out keys on deals and stuff like that. So if you can get it over like there, you can get it over there, because this game has a very active community, and you can play different with you can play different modes. One is like obviously solo campaigning. You can also play 1v1, you can play 2v2. I think the maximum is 4v4 or something, or 3v3. Like you can play with the friends as well. You can play local co-op, you can play online co-op, and the graphics is not too bad. It's enough to give you those good old days of RTS gaming, where it's like not too pixelated, but it still retains the old juice of how RTS games used to look like. It's not too fancy, not too modern, it's not too ultra high definition, but enough for you to have pleasure, and it hits the nostalgia spot. When you have tried out Age of Empires before, like the 1 or 2 or 3 before, or like you have watched videos of it, you'll feel nostalgic about it if you've seen someone play or if you have played yourself. So that's that. And the best part about this game is that it goes on sale frequently, because it's a Microsoft game, like it's a Xbox Game Studios game. It goes on sales frequently, and I think it might be available in the Xbox Game Pass, the Essential one as well. But please check that before buying the Xbox Essential. Like it really depends on region to region or something. Or sometimes they just remove games out of nowhere, even from their own Xbox Game Studios collection. So just check if the Age of Empires 2 is still there before buying on Steam or Epic or GOG or anywhere where you find it, or you just buy the key anyways. But it's a very interesting game, and I highly recommend you to try this game of Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. It has a very active community, and it is fun to play, fun to hang around, or like fun with your homies. And as I mentioned, this is a budget, or I would say low end gaming stuff, low end according to 2026 on my standards as well. So I'm recommending all the games considering you're playing on a 1080p monitor, not on a 1440p or a 4K or 8K or 16K, how whatever fucking resolution is popular these days. Next game that I'm gonna recommend to you is Assassin's Creed, but not exactly Assassin's Creed, but the Assassin's Creed Ezio trilogy. So Assassin's Creed Ezio trilogy is obviously about assassin or a person named Ezio, and this Ezio trilogy is kind of an interesting. I originally bought it on the PlayStation, and then I bought it on the Xbox as well, and I think it's one of the best assassin games, or not the best best Assassin's Creed games, because obviously you're gonna compete with Hitman. Literally, like Hitman is a really good game, but I feel like this is the Ezio trilogy is a really interesting game, and it even runs on Windows XP 32-bit, so you can play it anywhere you want. It barely requires a processor. The maximum requirement processor is, I think, Intel Pentium or Intel Core 2 Duo. It requires, I think, maximum of 2 gigabytes of VRAM. Oh no, wait, let me check actually quick. Oh, so it requires 256 MB of VRAM and 2 GB of RAM, like the RAM itself. So it's gonna run smoothly, and I think it's one of the best of Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Revelations, and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. These are the 3 games that come into the Ezio trilogy. And I think the Revelations is the one that requires some very higher graphics. Like its requirement is a little bit higher. So Assassin's Creed, let me check Assassin's Creed Revelation actually. So Assassin's Creed Revelation requires, and again, a Pentium or a Core 2 Duo, 2 GB of RAM, 256 GB of VRAM, 12 GB of hard disk storage space. Obviously, you need peripherals. You can either play it on a controller or you can play it on keyboard mouse. They say internet is required. I think it's because to verify with Ubisoft Plus or Ubisoft's whatever software that is on the PC, the Ubisoft launcher, whatever it's called. And I think you require it for most of the games, just for the verification part, and then you can turn off your internet and play the game. So it's not that like big of a deal, like deal breaker. Like you don't have to keep it online 24/7. You just you can more play, like you can go offline and play the game as well. Like it's not necessary. So that's a good part, and you can play it with your controller as well. That's also a additional bonus for this game because it's an RPG game. Because the first RTS game you cannot. I don't think you can play. You can take. I think you can play with the controller, but I don't think RTS games are ideally made for controller. I mean, if you're playing on a Steam Deck or something like that, maybe you'll go with the controller. But if you're PC or a laptop, I think playing it with a mouse and keyboard is more ideal, I would say, because you require like your click speed should be really high and you should use your key binds really fast so that you can build fast and conquer lands and stuff like that. But yeah, that's that. Well, let's move on to the next game. You might have heard of the statement, like growing up, like I have heard, can you run Crisis? So Crisis has been like one of the games that bring death to many PCs, and they made the original game, then they made the remaster of it. So original Crisis was considered like a very big deal. I don't know if you can buy the original Crisis anymore. I think you can only buy the Crisis collection or the remastered version of it. But if you get the remastered, you get the Legacy Edition as well with it. Or you can go the dark route and salvage the game from an archive in torrent or something. But this is just my recommendation of games, so it's not like I'm telling you how to get the game. You can get it all means necessary. I'm just recommending you games that you can enjoy on your PC. So the original Crisis, and I think even Crisis 3, the original one, the legacy one, will work on your PC. It requires Windows 7 and 8, 32-bit or 64-bit, not necessarily required. Like there's no particular specification for it. You require, I think, a 3 GB RAM to max to go minimum, or like 4 GB maximum to like body in full HD and like 100 Hz. You require a maximum of 2 GB of VRAM. You require DirectX 11, which I think most people have these days. And as I said, 12 to 14 GB you require for each game, like Crisis 2, Crisis 3, Crisis 1. I think Crisis 1 is even lower, not gonna lie. Let me check actually. Crisis 2 Maximus Edition requires 12 GB, Crisis 3 requires 12.6 GB, and Crisis 1 requires 6 GB. So it's a pretty interesting game. Even the remaster is a bit big. It requires 20 GB. Oh damn, it requires 20 GB. So that's that. And the new remastered version, it's a little bit higher on the, like, I think they upscaled a lot of stuff. So I think it requires 8 GB of RAM and 1050 Ti or 1050. Like it requires like 4 or 5 GB of VRAM. So you can still run it, like as I said, the low end PCs that you grab a laptop, a gaming laptop, or you build a minimum budget PC. Most of the PCs, like even with the chip shortage at the moment, you can still afford, like with the pre-built you can go as like 16 GB of RAM. That like it will be affordable for most people. Obviously, if you want to go lower and want me to create a lower video, as I mentioned, you can write in the comment section below. But this is just low-end gaming PC in 2026, and you can you can play these games. So you can either go for the remaster, the Crisis remastered as well, but I would recommend play the legacy version of it. You can get it from GOG or you can get it from Steam if you get the Maximus edition. And if you buy the remastered, you have to play it in a little lower settings. I have to say that before. Or you can, if you have 8 GB RAM, you can play it maximum settings. At least the Crisis 1 remastered. Crisis 3 remastered requires a little bit higher, like it's upscaled even more, and it's running on the new Crytek engine, so it's a little bit heavy on the system. It requires 16 GB of RAM and I think 6 GB of VRAM, so it's gonna be a little higher on the scale. Anyways, moving on to the next game, we have one Assassin's Creed, which is the stealth, like the Assassin's Creed Ezio trilogy, which is action and stealth. We have Crisis, which is a little bit space stuff. We have I already discussed the RTS games. Now I'm gonna talk about games. This is not exactly talking about a particular game, but like a series, or I'd say a type of games. You most like familiar with the Telltale games, right? See the Telltale series. And I know the the series has died and they don't have a lot of games that you can legally purchase because I think the licensing has gone out. But the games that you can still purchase are Batman series, which is a pretty good series in my opinion. and there is, I think, Walking Dead series, which is also a pretty good series. You don't require a high-end PC, you just require Windows 7 64-bit, or like Windows 8 64-bit minimum. You require a Core 2 Duo or a Pentium core, 4 GB of RAM, 2 GB of VRAM, DirectX 11, and like you can run it on anything basically. It's just a storytelling game. I know it's a short game. The Batman Telltale series is a very short game. There are multiple parts to it as well. Like there's Batman Telltale, then there's Batman Enemy Within. There's I think they removed the other parts, but I think you can get the Batman Telltale and the Batman Evil Within Telltale at the moment from their store itself. Let me actually quickly check what all games you can get from the Telltale games. So there are 14 games that are listed, and some of them are DLCs. So yeah, you can get Batman the Enemy Within, Batman Telltales, Tales from Borderlands, the expansion, which is the new, I think 2024 or 2022 new game that they released after the company was revived. The Wolf Among Us, Puzzle Agent 2, Puzzle Agent, Tales of Monkey Island, Texas, Telltale Hold'em. So amongst these, I think the two that I can recommend to you at the moment is obviously the Walking Dead series and the Batman The Enemy Within. I think these are the two series that I can recommend to you because these are really good games. And I think the Walking Dead Telltales is like long enough for you to like enjoy it for at least a week or so. Like it's a really long game. I don't know exactly how long is it. Let me actually quickly check from my browser how long to beat this game. By the way, if you want to know any game that you know how long it takes to beat that game or how long is the completioning hours playtime for that game, you can go to the website of howlongtobeat.com and you can find out how long it takes for the person to beat. Mostly people have linked their Steam to that website, so that tracker at least collects information from Steam of how long they took to beat the game or get 100% on that game. So that's pretty cool. So if I do Walking Dead Telltale, so it's showing me like the Walking Dead Telltale, the first game takes the 13 hours approximately. So like I think the final season and the first season are mentioned. Its for final season is 10 hours, first season is 13 hours. So approximately, if there are 4 seasons, just consider it like approximately like 30 to 40 hours of the whole gaming. Like some of the stories is short, some of them is long, so approximately I'll say 30 to 40 hours. I think the definitive edition adds extra scenes, so I think it's a bigger game. They add more content to it, like deleted content as well. So definitive edition, I think, is 40 hours or something. But the usual game is like 30 to 40 hours max. If you like, don't take time to choose, I think the choices. It's a decently lengthy game. You can play it during the weekend, complete it during the weekend, or complete it while playing whole week after office or something. It's a pretty chill game, and like any Telltale games, the one that I really like that I got a physical copy of it is called the Jurassic Park Telltale. So it's really tells some of the backstory for Jurassic Park, which is interesting, and some additional information of what went wrong in the Jurassic Park. So it has additional content which I really like, but unfortunately it's a lost game. Like you can officially not purchase it. You have to buy it either through a thrift shop which sells old games, or you have to go the pirate route. So that's that. But nonetheless, it was a really interesting, exciting Telltale game, and it's just lost. So yeah, that's that. And moving on to the last game of today, I'm not gonna like lengthy too much. So I've made a visual novel kind of like game recommendation as well, which is story-based game. I made a science fictional one. I made Assassin's Creed, and the last game that I recommend to you I think I would like to recommend you a different kind of game. So it's not completely similar to all those games, but also kind of similar. It's called The Gap. Now, I have talked about this game I think before as well, and I've talked about it in my stream as well. And this game I cannot recommend it like less, because probably first of all you have already like probably got this game because it was free on Epic Games for free game stuff. It was given by Steam once as well, so you might have got it somewhere, or you might have got it from Amazon Luna giveaway as well. So there's a high chance you have this game, and it's a pretty interesting game, not gonna lie. Minimum requirements is very low. It requires i5, Windows 10, or any set after 7, any Windows, but 64-bit, 4 GB of RAM, 2 GB of graphics memory, DirectX 12. That's the only high requirement that it has, that DirectX 12. DirectX 12 can be a little problem for some systems, but yeah. But the storage capacity is not like that high required. It's just a 3 GB game, so it's not that big. And the playtime for that is also not that big. It's like 3.5 hours of gameplay, at least one run. If you want to know the story more, you have to make different choices, and different choices will mean you will see the different outcomes, and you will see different scenarios that things could have gone. But the first one, to at least understand the base story and the base what other choices you can take actually, so you will understand the base story of what's going on. It's a very complex story about a man who is going through stuff, and he's trying to recollect all those missing gap of memories that he has, like what happened, what's going on, what's wrong with me kind of stuff. So he's going through that phase where he's like completely going crazy, and you go through his crazy journey of finding like all lost memories and discovering some good things, some really bad things, and you have to make a choice at the end. So that's that. I'm not going to spoil this game for you, but it's a pretty interesting and exciting game that I would recommend you to try. It's a storytelling game, but it's not exactly a visual novel. It's an interactive fiction, definitely. It's a psychological horror. It's mature content. It's for mature audience, and it's story rich. And the graphics, I would say, it's not the greatest graphics, but we are at the like at the end of the day, this video is about low end gaming. It's not about the best of the best graphics. Yeah, that's my recommendation to you. Hope you like this video, found this interesting. If so, press the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We meet soon in the next video. Till then, peace out.